Yes, here we go. Right here, BackChat, brought to you by BackChat Studios. We're here. Very excited to have this guest right in front of us. Thanks very much to our supporters, our sponsors, Whippersnapper, Shelter, Margaret River Roasting Co., Bluebet, and of course, Lidl Cameras.
Yes.
Very exciting to have this great man sitting right with us right now. It's not Luke Darcy, as I spoke about a few weeks ago that I called him on the coverage. It is Sean Darcy with us from the Freo Dockers. G'day, mate.
G'day, mate. What's
Sean.
going on?
Yeah, not much. Now, I think we should start with an issue for people watching on YouTube. What's he wearing here? What is this?
Yeah, he's wearing a Pirate Life jumper, which is, they're decent.
Respectable.
Whatever.
Are they WA?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can't have that. Brought to you by Shelter here, Sean. So I've got something for you, something I've prefabricated earlier. Happy with this?
Lovely.
So you're going to have to take that stuff off.
Look
whatever
at
you call
this.
it.
Which camera do you want me here? Over this? Oh, the big one. Have a look at what we've got here. Have a look. Dan, you're going to have to speak in the microphone.
Yeah, sorry. It's a grey BackChat sweater. Backman's only. No, that's not the Backman one, is it?
No, that's BackChat.
That's just the BackChat.
BackChat. So can you please put that on, please,
Yeah,
Sean,
swap.
while we have a chat through here? So while you're putting that on, Sean, just use your ears here. You don't need to use your voice while you're putting it on. We asked the same question of every guest here on the podcast. Yes, you're a Doig medalist. Yes, you've been in the Brownlow Medal. Yes, you've had a lot of hit-outs. You're a Ruckman. Congratulations. Yep. We're here to tell you, fantastic work, great effort.
You're tall. We get it.
Yeah, correct. We love your footy career, and we will get to speak about that. But to start things, we'd like to know your greatest sporting achievement, not on the football field. So, okay, yeah, again, you tell us about winning the Best and Fairest. Scully hasn't done it. Dan, you ever won on Best and Fairest?
Probably if they were giving the awards away during under-9s, could be Bombers, but...
Yes, okay. Now, I've given you some time to think about it. Your greatest sporting achievement not on the football field. I know you used to do a few sports back in the day.
I'd probably have to say swimming.
Yes.
I was quite an okay swimmer. I probably just got chucked in the back of the car with my older brother. He was a very talented swimmer, so I reckon I broke 28 in 53 when I was about 15, which was probably my greatest.
Tell the listeners
I don't know what that means.
28 seconds.
Yeah, 28 seconds. But
freestyle.
What would Dan, if Dan jumped in the pool right now, did 50 metres?
He'd struggle to get under 40.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what I can do. No, I'm a horrible swimmer.
You would be. So 28 seconds in a 50 metre. Where does that get you, like?
I qualified for nationals, I think, that year, which is like, if you're swimming a lot, that's quite a good achievement.
We'll pay that.
Yeah, that's very good.
Can you speak about your brother? Did I read he was a world record holder?
Yeah, he had 2 world records at a time.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Tell me about him.
So Xavi, he'll be 29, almost he turned 30 this year.
So your older brother?
Yeah, oldest brother. He's got disability, so he's got Down syndrome. He's S12 is his category in swimming. So when I reckon I was about year 6, and he was coming up the ranks and going really well at nationals and things like that, and I didn't really understand how good he was at the time. Like, I was, he's just my older brother, things like that. Yeah. And he got invited to the world titles, and I thought he'd just go over, swim, maybe like go all right, and then comes back with 5 golds and 4 silvers and 2 world records. And I was like, wow, this is impressive.
Wow. So he broke the world record in what?
I think it was 50 fly and 53.
He is absolutely shit all
Amazing.
over you. 28 seconds for 50. Good on you, Sean. Brother's a world record holder.
I remember I had a bit of confidence in my first year, and I come back and I was talking to my 2. I got 4. We got 4 siblings, so I got 2, an older sister and 2 older brothers. And I was talking a bit of trash to my older sister and older brother. I was like, "Oh, you guys haven't ever made a state team or da da da." And Xavi pops out of nowhere. He's like, "How many world records you got, big fella?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you've got me." So
you're the youngest in the family, but are you the biggest? Is everyone else tall?
Oh, Lee's tall. He's about 6'6", and then Jen's tall for a girl. She's 5'10", and then Xavi's 5'10" as well. So
but it doesn't really matter what Zave is, because Zave's a world record holder, mate. So he just
Exactly.
always has the trump.
He's got the trump card there for sure.
It doesn't matter. So South Parrambeet.
Parrambeet.
Yeah, don't get that wrong. Cobden, Warrnambool, not too far from Warrnambool. So you grow up southern Victoria.
Yep.
It's similar weather to probably the south of Western Australia, Augusta type areas, right? It's windy, it's wet,
Cold,
it's cold.
Very cold.
What's your upbringing like there, mate? You're a sibling of 4. Is it lots of sport growing up? Or?
Yeah, in a small country town, that's really all you do. So I played every sport under the sun. Grew up in a farm. We had about 300 acres, about 200 cows. So beef farm, and then mum and dad were also vets as well. So they had a clinic in Camperdown, which was about 15 minutes away. So yeah, it was a great family, great childhood.
Who was your taxi driver? You would have had something. Boys from the country just get driven around by the parents.
Yeah, mum was unbelievable. I still don't know how she did it. I reckon every night I had sport growing up, so times that by 4. So I think she, like a lot of the sports, she just chucked everyone in the same car and said, you're doing it no matter what. So my older sister, she did horse riding when I was, I reckon, about 6. So I had to come along with her, things like that, like hockey, cricket, footy, basketball, swimming, horse riding for a bit. So yeah.
Did you ride a horse?
Yeah, I did it for 2 years. It was great fun. Like, yeah.
Give me,
did like,
I want to go back
dressage,
dressage, like cross country, all that sort of stuff. Show jump.
Greatest sporting achievement. Okay, I'll give you the 28 seconds and the 50. What's your greatest sporting achievement on a horse? So you did dressage. So you used to be able to
walk
them around.
Jump. What they jump?
So show jumping's a jump.
Yeah,
dressage where they prance around and that look real good, and then cross country's like a race. So that was my favourite one. The cross country, they jump really high, like jumps, and you go as fast as you can. So I had this one. I think what was my horse name? Zoom.
Did you come up with that?
No, that was from when we bought them. So yeah, it was. I loved it. Like everyone makes fun of me now, but it was so much fun.
No, that's elite. You mustn't. Like, did you have a big growth spurt when you were old? Because like you're like too big to ride a horse, like competitively. Like
horses are pretty big. But
still, like people that ride horses are tiny.
like I grew for like probably year 7. Like I was always like sort of tall, but year 7 I got real tall.
Did you play like country boys again? Always play up levels like as you're going through the footy? Were you because you grew up in year 7 and you got taller? Were you always playing above your age?
Yeah, I think like when I got to year 7, so I think I was under 14s at the time. I'd play 14s, 16s, and then if they were on the Sunday, and then if they had a spot for the Saturday, I'd play 18s. I think I played my first senior game when I was 15, things like that. So yeah.
Did you go well?
I went alright actually. I was pretty happy with
for
myself.
who? What's
Cobden Bombers.
The Bombers.
Yeah.
So red and black.
Red and black. Yeah.
That's very good. So you do that. You do end up at Xavier College, and so that's like a rival school of mine down Geelong College. Xavier College are the,
better or
there's
worse?
a little bit more money up in Melbourne, so all the well-off boys head up there. So, but how do you get there from? Where you grew up? My
grandpa, he went to Xavier. He was from Tasmania and shipped over to boarding school from year 3 for 9 years.
Wow.
And then my oldest brother, second oldest, Liam, he got a scholarship to Xavier. He's quite bright. He's a doctor at the moment, so he got a
very good.
Academic scholarship, and then I got a general excellence. I wasn't quite as smart, but I could play some footy, so they threw me along.
Shout out to Xavier College, because there's been some good players that come out of there. Like around my years, Nick Smith from Sydney, Josh P. Kennedy at Sydney Swans. Cyril Rioli was there.
Oh no.
Yeah, Cyril was there, mate.
No, he was at Scotch.
He was too. That's absolutely correct.
Willie was at Xavier.
Yeah, Willie was at Xavier.
Yep.
Nick Smith and I've actually butchered that.
Yeah,
absolutely I have. But there's been some good players.
Joe Watson, Bailey Smith, Jack Silvani, Mark Pitternick. I think he got drafted my first year.
So were you boarding there?
Yeah, I boarded from year 10, 11, 12.
But then you played for Geelong Falcons.
Yep.
So where were you living?
So yeah, it was a lot of time spent travelling. So, but growing up in a country town, that's all you really do is drive everywhere. So, my weeks in year 12 were pretty long. Like I would train Monday night if I could at Collingwood VFL. Then
what?
Yeah, like throw that in there somehow. This is when school footy was like finished. So school footy only lasts for 9 weeks. So you play a term, and then you've still got a lot of footy to play. So Collingwood VFL, I got through Vic Country, and then they wanted me to play at Geelong. So I'd go Monday Collingwood, Tuesday Geelong, Wednesday Collingwood, Thursday Geelong, and then play on the weekends for Geelong. So yeah, there was a lot of miles on the car.
Because Melbourne to Geelong, it's an hour drive. But if you're at school the next morning, like were you staying in Geelong?
Yeah, so my grandma, she lives legitimately a K away from the training facility at Geelong Falcons. So before I had my licence, I'd jump on the train down. I'd finish school in period 5, jump on the train down. Mum would pick me up and then drive me to training, and then I'd stay the night at my grandma's, and then wake up at 5 in the morning, jump the train, go back up to. So yeah,
I saw a bit. So this is the Mick Turner Footy Factory down at Geelong Falcons stand.
T.
So I saw a bit from Mick talking about you in your draft year, and I mean you still are. You're a big boy, but he said that recruiters didn't do their work on you like they should have, because they saw you carrying a bit of extra weight and they thought it was your work rate that you were bigger. But given what you've just told us, you were swimming at 4:30, you were training 5 times a week. It doesn't sound right.
Nah, it was. Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing to try to explain, like what I was doing to the AFL clubs, because they didn't believe it. It's probably the boarding school diet. They didn't really cook the best food for you. And with me, it's like if my diet's not okay, I'll blow up.
You look at food.
Yeah,
You're putting skinnies on.
Basically, so I always thought, you can train, like you train really hard and you get skinny. Nah, not for me. It's like
I think I've got that too. I reckon that's me.
You're just shorter, so it's harder for you.
It's more
a bit
obvious.
of space to throw it around.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you've got no excuse.
Yeah.
Were you a Geelong fan growing up?
Yeah, so my uncle played for Geelong.
Did he now?
Yeah.
Where was that information from? Who was that?
Tim Darcy.
Tim Darcy.
Yeah.
I think I would have been cheering him on in the stands, probably abusing him as well if he's coming off.
Back pocket. I think he got to 200.
So does that mean there's any relation? There's no relation with Luke though, is there?
No.
Just the correlation that I drew on Fox Footy coverage as I looked up, saw you injured. Used to watch Luke Darcy as a kid and just threw that right out there. So okay, so your Uncle Tim, did you ever spend any time down at Geelong?
Not like roughly. He was,
because he was a big boy as well, wasn't he?
yeah, he was a back pocket. He was about 194.
Yep.
Played on the big boys. I think he played on Lockett. Not Lockett. Yeah, Lockett.
Yeah.
Dunstall, and then he had to train against Ablett, so he
Could play.
Yeah.
Sounds like Schofield's road to the draft. Kennedy. So 2016. So you play Year 12 Xavier.
Yep.
And Falcons.
Yep.
And state footy.
Yep.
Do you walk into the draft thinking, Ruckman are a dime a dozen. There's not 20 guys that picked up. There might be 5 that have picked up every draft. Do you think you're going to get drafted?
No, I didn't really. I thought I had my plan all along was to have a gap year in year when I was 19 and have a full year at Geelong Falcons, so I could play. Like that was basically what I was putting in my head that I was going to do, probably from my mum. So she's always like, backup plan never gives me much. So I was going into the draft. I thought I'd be rookie at best, and then I think I was 38. Come out, and I didn't really expect it at all.
Fair draft crop that year for you boys. Brennan
Yeah.
Cox, Luke Ryan, Griffin Logue, even Taylor Jaman. He's a good player. Yeah, it's sort of set. People look at what Freo's doing now and playing good footy and success and all that, but it hasn't just happened. Like you boys have been playing footy for a long time together.
Yeah, exactly.
So were Freo like in contact with you beforehand? Did you have
Yeah, I had a few meetings. I had the 2 that were probably the biggest were Freo on West Coast. I had about 3 meetings with both of them.
You're telling me you could have been an Eagle?
Yeah, they came in a lot. And then, of course, Geelong, because I'm down the highway. And then I think Carlton was a little bit, because I'm really good mates with Jack Silvani. We went to school. He went to Xavier as well. And I had a bit to do with Stephen. So he was the list manager at the time. I had a few interviews with him. So, yeah, there was a few.
Just having a look at the
looking to see
2016 draft right now.
who the Eagles
taken by 2 picks, 1 pick before Sean Darcy. The very pick before 37.
West Coast had?
Josh Rotham to the West Coast Eagles. Sean Darcy, 38 to Fremantle.
Exactly.
So they obviously didn't want you.
No, they didn't.
Because they could have had you.
Yeah. So
he's a trained man. He's not going to give us too much there. Very good. So you come in, you play in your first year. I'm pretty sure you win a premiership in your first year, don't you?
Yeah,
With
Peel Thunder. Yeah.
What's that like playing? Were you number one ruck in the waffle that season?
Yeah, I was. So I played the first. I didn't really expect it to play any AFL games, to be honest. I was a big boy, wasn't I think my first 3K time trial was like 12:15 or something, so not good at all. Rocked up, just trained hard and wanted to play waffle all year, and then I think it was around 14 or something, I think Zach Clark got injured, Aaron Sandilands got injured, and Johnny Griffin, so I was the last ruck on the list. I'm like, here you go, off you go.
Against Geelong, right?
Yeah, down in Geelong. So the funny story about my grandparents, So not the one that I stayed with when I trained in Geelong. They live legitimately like 5 minutes from GMHBA Stadium, and they flew over to Perth to watch me play waffle that week.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So they're flying over, and I had lunch with them the day before. I probably should have known that there was 3 other ruckmen injured that I might be playing, but I didn't really expect it. I had to call them. Yeah, I was like, yeah, pa, nan, I'm not playing waffle this week. I'm playing in Geelong.
Did they fly back?
No, they stayed an extra week and watched me play the next week. So
did you? Who called you to tell you were playing?
I got Ross before main training. Said, yeah, this is a team, and I was starting ruck. So
Did you think, oh shit, Nan and Pop are over?
no, I had no idea, mate. It was all a whirlwind. I wasn't expecting anything. So, and yeah, it was quite fun in them.
There would have been a fair crop of family then there for your first game.
Yeah, there was a fair few. I reckon there was about 50 people in the rooms after the game, and 40 of them were in a relation.
Did you win?
Fam. No, Sonny missed a goal with about 5 seconds left.
So he had the chance to make you 1 from 1.
Yeah.
So it's
and
his fault.
We lost by 2 points.
Wow.
So you were getting hit up for tickets and stuff, like in your first game. Was that a lot for you then? Like family.
To be honest, my parents were great. They copped it. I was talking to Mark Anderson. I was like, look, I'm just going to play. Like I was that nervous. Like I'm quite an anxious person as it is. Like I still get nervous for games there. I reckon I slept for 2 days. Like leading up. I think it was Reece Stanley I was playing, and all I hear about is how athletic and how he can jump and sprint really fast. So I was just not feeling great going into it, but. Went all right.
But next minute he has 40. You had 40 hit outs that day, so it went okay.
Yeah.
Second most in debut history.
Yeah.
Second most on debut, sorry, in AFL history.
know that?
Huge.
I did know that.
Who's number 1?
He
Don't
debuted. He had 42. That's what
That's
I
correct.
that
remember,
is, yeah.
but I can't remember who.
He's still playing, I believe. Yeah,
Is he?
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's at the Gold Coast now. Ivan Soldo.
Soldo, he plays for
Richmond.
Yeah.
Ivan Soldo, 42 touches. 42 hit outs.
Yeah.
So knocked you off the perch.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I was going well until like about halfway through the second. I've run off and I was like, Stocko, our physio, I was like, Stock, my calves are gone. It's not even half time. Then I run off in the last quarter and I'm like, yeah, Stock, I'm cramping. He's like, where? I was like, everywhere. Like quads gone, groin gone, calves gone.
So you could have had the most then in history.
Yeah,
Just your body just
the calves couldn't hold up.
Nah, and I think they were putting Mark Blitzarves in as well, who was running me everywhere.
That's not who you want to come up against, Reece Stanley.
It was a tough game. Lucky the ground was quite small, so I didn't have to do much running.
The anxiety stuff, like not anxiety, but they're anxious before games and getting nervous. Like what does that mean? Like people who listen really enjoy the inside of players leading up to game day. Do you I used to play with guys who used to throw up.
Yeah, I'm not like religiously every game throw up, but once in probably like 4 or 5, I'll have a little chunder.
Just like just nervousness.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
I just want to play well. And I probably, before last year, probably my first 3 years, I didn't really have a set routine, which made me a bit more nervous. Whereas now I have a really set routine where if it's a night game, I know what I'm doing. Whether it's a day game, I'm pretty set with my routine. So that probably takes away the nervous energy as much. So
do you think it's like the unknown a bit?
Yeah,
it was the unknown.
Yeah, like I'm playing ruck against some really good ruckmen, things like going up and so. Yeah, once. And then when you're not established, you played, 30 games and you don't know who you're going to play against and if you're going to go well.
So that year, though, 2017, so you debut.
Yep.
How many games did you play that first year?
I don't reckon I got to 10.
Okay, so you play under 10, but then you come back into finals. Freo had 8. So Freo had a bunch of guys, those guys I mentioned, Doig, Ryan, Cox, bunch of boys as well, sort of around that era playing for Peel.
Yeah.
How did that day go for you? You played well.
Yeah.
73 hit outs. Yeah. 73 hit outs, mate. How many stoppages was there?
Oh, it was shocking day. It poured down for the first, I reckon, 2.5 quarters, like it is right now, like torrential rain, and there was just stoppage after stoppage. I was going against Lockie Dulhunty, who's good mates with, and he's an undersized ruck who uses his run, so I was going all right. Yeah.
Wow. So you played well.
Yep.
First flag? You
First flag. No, I won one when under 14s, so but first proper flag.
And what was that like? Sort of playing in a waffle team, but you've got a big bunch of Freo players with you.
It was super. It was so much fun. Zach Dawson was sort of our spiritual leader. Like he'd brought everyone in, and but yeah, the boys. It was. I think we had about 14, 15 list of boys, so we had quite a good team going into that.
Yeah.
I know that they copped a bit of flack for that at the time.
Yeah, it went.
Especially
it was
Subi fans were filthy.
Like the year before, they had like 18 of 22, and then it got restricted to 15. I think now it's like 11 or 13 or something now.
Right.
So,
and that year, I was just having a look, 2017, 1 win, 7 losses. How's that feeling for you in your rookie season?
What's that? In the AFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2017, the back end of that season was rough for Freo. So rough. 1 win, 7 losses.
We were all right. Like against Geelong, I'm pretty sure we lost by 2 or whatever. Saints, we were up all game and we got run over in the last. North Melbourne, so I was like, oh, it's not too bad. And then the last 3 or 4 games, I think I got suspended the last game, so I missed that. But the 2 before was Sydney and Richmond, back-to-back 100-point loss. And the first one was Ross's first 100-point loss, and then the second one back-to-back. It wasn't a great time at Freo.
Did Ross get done at end of 2017?
No, he had 2 more.
He had 2 more.
Yeah.
So what was Ross Lyon as a coach? What was he like?
Oh, I've always had a really good relationship with Ross. He's tells you what he thinks, and if you accept the feedback and move on, a lot of people get emotional with Ross, and because he's pretty honest, he'll tell you what he thinks of you, and like when you're 18 and that, you're just like, I remember there was like Griff and a few boys were going in asking like, how close am I to playing seniors, and he'd just give them, mate, you're miles off, like things like that. Like you're just like this 18-year-old. I'm pretty sure he told Griff he's like 4 out of 100 in levels of footy. Like
that is rough.
In his first preseason. Like so yeah, that's just Ross. He hit you right between the eyes.
I was going to say, but it sounds like that sort of suits you.
Yeah, I personally enjoy that. I like being told what they think personally, and it's not like, oh, you're going all right, but this is what you need to work on. He'd just be like, nah, straight out.
Yeah. What about Cam Shepherd?
Cam
Shep.
Good old Shep. I love Shep. 2-time we call him for back to back. Yeah, he was very similar. He could give a spray. I remember, who did we play? We played Subi, and I thought I got dropped in my 3rd year, and he gave one of the biggest sprays I've ever had in my life. To me, yeah. I gave 4 free kicks in the first quarter away. That we're down 60 points, I think, in the first, and I'm like complaining because I'm quite competitive, so I'm talking to the umpires saying that's bullshit, like things like that. Shep comes in at quarter time because the boys Freo were playing that night. He's like, who do you think you are? Like,
give me the voice. Come on.
Shep's like, who do you think you are? You think you should be playing tonight, don't you, big fella? Like, just going at me, like
head coach.
Yeah, going at me. To be honest, I thought I was pretty stiff to get dropped, but anyway, going at me, and I was like, wow, that's pretty tough. And I've gone in and Lockie Dalhunty, who I know off field quite well. He's trying to chat to me like the whole second quarter, like it was a great day. He's like, we should be on the beers tonight, things like that. I was like, mate, I cannot give you anything. Like, and I was giving him not a word. He's just trying to chat to me the whole day. Yeah, Shep. Nah, but I got along with Shep. He was great.
Do you remember Dan from Pure Thunder in 2017? Dan tells our podcast listeners and watchers that he worked at Pure Thunder for a couple of years. Big influence.
Just one. I one season.
Which year?
Through I think 2017.
Memorable, you think?
Where was it?
I don't know. I think.
So you're the guy who films.
Yeah, I was like on that. Like there was 8 students there.
Wow.
No, that's not. Why would you remember me? That's why.
You want to tell him that?
What?
Oh, no. Dan. I don't know how much of an impact Dan had on the group, to be honest. So that's what.
No,
it was huge.
No, we used to.
It was huge. We won the flag for Dan.
One of us would get to interview one player a week.
Yeah,
so like
I hated doing that.
Yeah.
Like the last thing you want to do is a curtain interview after Peel.
How have you gone from country kid? Yes, you go through Xavier, but it sounds like you were just there for your footy and coming into the spotlight of media and radio and
terrible,
TV.
terrible.
You're doing all right here.
I'm going all right. I've
media.
improved. Like, you should have seen when I was at the start. I was horrendous. Like, no words. Like, couldn't answer any questions. Like, mumbled the whole time. Didn't want anyone to hear me. Like, I'm pretty sure last year on live TV, I swore like 3 times. Didn't realise I swore. Like,
well, your very first interview with Triple M, you
that's
dropped
what I'm talking.
you dropped. That's radio, just in case you didn't realise that, Sean.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah. So you dropped a fuck and a fucking.
And a shit. In your
first on air live.
Didn't realise. I had to look at the media manager who was like about 10 metres out the back, losing it. And I was just like, oh no. And I've like put the headphones off and just gone. I was like, this is it. I'm done. Like, because they've all lost it in the studio. I was like, what did I say? Like, it wasn't that funny. Like,
You thought they were laughing.
I thought I said something funny, but it wasn't. And I've just seen the media manager just go like this, like Lukey Morfest. It was, and he's just like, we've got to give straight back. Like the whole time with Lukey, so
yes. Oh, I mean, probably not dropping the big F bombs on live radio.
No.
Probably not out of the media playbook.
Yeah.
But what did you showed me a video of him having a bit of a battle with a mask at one stage with Pav.
Oh yeah, because you had the earpiece on and you took the mask
Sean Darcy one-on-one with a mask, live TV. What did you do there?
Oh, it was stupid. All right, let me get it. So we're outside, so you don't need to wear a mask, first of all.
Yes, but they want to.
The optics, which I don't agree with.
Yep.
And so I had to put the mask on, and the channel 10 or channel 7, whatever. Channel 9.
Yes.
Didn't even. I had 3. 1 out of 3. 33%. I didn't even get in the ballpark. Wow.
Yes. Continue.
Yeah. So they've come in and put the piece over the mask, and I had to take the mask off and didn't think of it.
It didn't go well, did it?
Didn't, nah. And I've taken it off, and because Pav's in the studio, he's like just seen it and gone, like lost it, like, and I'm just like, oh, that's like, if Pav didn't react, it wouldn't have been as funny, I don't think. And like, we couldn't do the interview for the next 10 minutes. Like, he was just gone, and he tried again. He's like, nah, I got to hold it. So they've rang me, the Freo media team. They're like, can we put this up? I was like, if you do, I'm never doing media again. They've chucked it up, but here I am.
Well, we've got a couple of stories coming out. Talk us through living with Sandy in your first couple of weeks. How did that go?
That's great.
Who? You a good man to live with?
Sandy? Oh, he's super. He's one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. Like, but like just off the field, like what you see is what you get. Like, just the nicest guy, means well, wants everyone to go well. And
did you treat his house well? Did you?
Majority of the time. Majority of the time,
look
I did.
After his residents.
Yeah.
Was there any particular time that you didn't look after his residents?
Oh, there was one time.
So, what did you spill at Sandy's house? What did you do?
So they were unbelievable, great host. They wouldn't let me cook, and I was just like, they wouldn't let me do anything. Cook, do dishes. I was like, nah. Like, growing up, Mum always had a rule, like, if you don't cook, you do the dishes, things like that. Like,
right.
So I still stick by it. And I was just like, I wanted to help out. Like, I hated. He was like, no, just sit on the couch. Like, don't worry. And this one day, I was like, I'll cook like a salad for him. Like, that's all I was allowed to.
Salad.
Like, yes. Do something nice for him.
Yeah. Good man.
Like, trying to thank him for like looking after me, and
throw some lettuce in a bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was trying to grab the balsamic vinegar or something from the shelf, and the fish sauce is next to it.
Fish sauce.
Yeah. And I've knocked the fish sauce down, and it's gone everywhere. Like, not even like just a little bit, like everywhere, like glass bottle shattered, like. And
were they in the house?
Nah, they weren't. I rang him and I was like, "Look, I'll cook a salad for tonight." Like,
I can't handle that. You can't say.
I'll make a salad. Mate, I'm thinking about it.
I'm a chef.
Yeah, all right, I'll make a salad. Yes. Went to the supermarket. Thought I was being real, like an adult and like growing up. I'm 18 at the time. Just moved out of boarding school. Don't even know how to do laundry, let alone
cook a salad.
Like, cook a salad. That's what I was thinking. And I've just gone, and it's like fish sauce stinks, like horrendous, like
dead fish.
And I'm just like, oh no, like no one's home. Got everything out, like the mop. I've never cleaned in my life, like, so I've like picked up all the glass, chucked it in the bin. I should have put the bit in the outside bin, not the inside bin. Like, didn't even know things that. And I've like had no idea to clean it. Got paper's towels, just put it there, just like soak up. Like no idea. And I was like, thought like being naive, 18 at the time, just drafted like, oh yeah, that doesn't smell that bad. Like he won't notice. Like walk in. What's that? Oh, what do you reckon? Like I made a salad. He's like, yeah, I see that. That doesn't smell. And he's just like, you fucking spelled this fish sauce, did you? I was like, mate, I'm so sorry. I tried cleaning up. And
it wasn't on his carpet, was it?
No, it was on tiles.
Okay. That's very good.
Oh, it was, yeah.
That's very good. What about
All right, here we go.
No, yeah. So I'm just going to my notes here. What about leaving your luggage in an airport accidentally? I believe.
How did you get that?
Oh, just
wow.
So when does this happen?
That's impressive from you.
I mean, so you go on holidays. You get your luggage. You go on.
Nah,
You've left your luggage somewhere. Where did you leave it?
Nah, so I can't believe you got that. That's really impressive.
Please continue.
So it was we had I think it was a bye weekend. Shot off to Melbourne to see the family and da.
Yep.
And thought the flight was 6:45, and I think it was a 6:15 flight. So yeah, thought it was 2:15, but it was 2:45. Anyway,
yeah.
And the traffic on Melbourne on a Sunday to the airport's like extraordinary. Like this was one of my first years, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I've rocked up. Boys are calling me like plane's about, and I thought they were taking the piss sort of thing. The plane's about to go. I was like, yeah, righto. And then I've looked at the tickets. I'm like, fuck. And I've rocked up there. They're like, baggage is closed. I got this big suitcase. I've been in Melbourne for like a week. Like, I was like, I can't carry this on. So I've called my sister because she lives in Melbourne. I was like, oh, you got to come pick this bag up. I'm like, they're boarding. They're calling my name out. Like, but she's like, yeah, I'll be there. Like, I'm turning around. Like, I'll be 5. I was like, no, they're calling my name. I've got to run. Left the like suitcase, like, not thinking like I'm 18 at the time again, like being naive and dumb, not thinking that anything will happen. Like she'll just come and pick it up. She rocks up. There's like a bomb squad there, like making sure I start a bomb, and she's had to sit there like for the next hour getting interrogated by like the police, like saying like, no, he was just late to a flight. Like he's left. It's not a bomb. Like. And I'm on the plane, had no idea this has happened at the time. Like I've just made the plane.
You got your feet up in business class.
I'm loving life. Like rock up and like landed 4 hours later, and she's giving me the biggest mouthful, like going at me,
Cam Shepherd style.
And I'm just like, was your
stuff in it?
Yeah, like
you just.
There's a bomb in it, Dan.
My clothes.
So what did you take? Did you have anything on the other end? Like your clothes?
I just had a back. I was going back.
Oh, you're going back home, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
so
he made the decision between missing the flight and keeping his luggage, or getting on the flight and clothes will get there somehow.
So I'm curious, where did you leave the bag? Like where in the airport?
Dan's a real stickler for rules, so he's
I was just like, did you leave it like near the front door? Or
So like front door, sliding doors. I put it next to it.
That's so sus.
Oh man, I was looking
so
back at it.
Meanwhile, there's a guy on the PA going, "Please do not leave bags." Like every 30 seconds or so.
I love just like at like one of the busiest airports.
Like I have no idea.
Just leaves his bag at the front door. Like, someone will grab it.
Who did you get that from?
No one, mate. Never reveal a source.
That is very impressive.
Thank you very much. Never reveal a fish source. Now, okay, so Premiership 2017, have some good years. 2021, last year, big year for you. Doig medalist, best and fairest. Huge, mate.
Yeah.
Huge. Must be a proud moment winning that.
Yeah, it was. I was not really expecting it because I missed the first game, so the rule is you have to play probably 22 games to win it, and Dave had a super year. So
why is that? Just why do you have to play a lot of games to win it?
Well, because you get voted on every game, and like the coaches are. So the more you have, the more opportunity you have to play. So, and especially Dave, I thought Dave had a super year and things like that. But I had a pretty interrupted year, like pre-season going into that. I did my lateral corner in my knee, which was 8 weeks out. So I missed round 1, and my first game was round 2. So everything just clicked, and off I went.
How'd your speech go?
Yeah, I think it was all right.
I'm not stitching out.
Yeah, I didn't swear or anything. So
the only other people to win a best and fairest younger than the age of 23 at the Fremantle Dockers.
I reckon you probably know. Do you know?
Of course he does. He knew about He knew about the 42.
Yeah.
He knows about
that
this.
kills me.
Nat Pavlich, Nat Fyfe, Sean Darcy. So you're the three youngest blokes to win at that footy club. Does that change anything at all? Does it change expectation on yourself? Other people's expectations of you? How you prepare? Do you want to be better? How does that change your mindset, if at all?
Yeah, probably a little bit more spotlight this year. Things like the boys, like they listen to me a little bit more, which I've never had. Like I remember JL coming to me halfway through preseason. He's like, "I want you to speak up more." I was like, "Oh, no one cares what I think." Like, he's like, "No, they actually do." And like things like I used to do this. I still do. I do a touch session in the morning at like 7 o'clock with Joel Corey, and because I thought that was something that really, like, he came in 2021, and that was his first year, and that's something that I really enjoyed, and it stretched your hands and things like handballing and not fumbling is something that I try to pride myself on, and like seeing that I was the only one to do it last year, and now we've got like 15 boys doing it. I was like, I see something that's pretty cool, like people like following, doing things like that you're doing. So, but yeah, my expectation is always, I want to be one of the best in the comp. I think I've been a bit inconsistent this year, so a couple of injuries, things like that. So, yeah.
How much is Joel Corey
Smitty?
Great nickname. Do you understand Smitty? He's got
two
first names, so they've given him a last name. Joel Corey Smitty. It's very good.
Very
good.
What's his impact been? Because he was one of the great footballers, one of my favourite footballers growing up. He used to wear the biggest shorts of all time, like board shorts.
Yep.
He used to play in board shorts. The longest of all time. Got ya.
I got to see this.
What's his impact?
So he was my favourite player growing up.
Yeah, great.
Like, and I didn't. It took me like 6 months to tell him. Like, I was just like,
he used to come down to Peel, and I used to be like, "Hi, Joel, nice to see you."
And I remember having a few beers. Oh, and to be honest, like the touch session was just to like hang out with him. Like that's the only reason I wanted to do it. Like I didn't, and then I was like, put 2 and 2 the correlation. I was like, I'm playing better footy now. So yeah, he's super, and he's just so calm. Like he sits on the bench and like nothing ever. Like his communication skills are just great. Like he'll come off and he'll be like. He'll be like, he's not a coach that tells you what he thinks. He'll ask you what you think. Like that's the first thing he'll say. He's like, "What do you think?" And then he'll try to like get you in the right direction. Yeah. So, and he's just knowledge of the game is first class.
Yeah, his midfield knowledge great because he played one of the all-time midfields at Geelong, of course.
And the best thing about him, he's probably one of the first coach that has coached me like a midfielder rather than a ruckman, which is something that I've sort of never had. So it's like things like positioning around a contest. He's like, I don't look at you as a midfielder. I don't look at you as a ruckman, like that just hits the ball and stands still. He's like, I want you to like position and get into the right spaces and make it easier for the ball carrier to hit you and things like that. So that was something that I probably never had.
How much? I know what happens at West Coast, but how much does the ruckman have to do with where you're hitting the ball? Serious question. Are you telling the mids where you're hitting it, or are they telling you where you're hitting it?
It's sort of like 50-50. Like the mids can see where the space is. I sort of like it's sort of, in the centre bounce, it's where I want, like where I feel like I'm getting over.
So when you get together, that's what you're talking about?
It's like, look, I think I can put it, I know I can put it there. Whereas if they're like calling over here, it's like, no, it's a harder hit, especially like going against someone, like depends on, like on the weekend it was Max going, so it was much more vanilla than it was against someone like
Will Schofield. Yeah,
you know, so
you'd
like,
bully me and put it where you want it.
Yeah, so it's that conversation, whereas around the ground it's harder because we're on moving parts and you're not coming from the same direction. You don't have 5 or 6 seconds to get.
What about when it's in the air? Does much happen in the air, or is it talked about, discussed?
It's sort of talked about, but if I can see a space, sort of use your peripherals. That's Simon East, or we used to do this pretty stupid game, but it worked. He'd had these glasses that like blindfold you there, and so you could only see out of your peripherals.
So it like had like a tinted.
Yeah, so it was like black, and then just and would stand in a cement like middle of the ground, and it'd be like a ruckman on that side, and then like a ball that would change colour. I think it would change colours, so it would be like red, Nick Nandui or Blue, Max Gorn, something like that. So that taught you to use your peripherals. That was in my first 4 years, which was quite good. So I sort of, if you can see the space and you can see where the boys are like the opposition are moving, you can put it there. So yeah,
That's
Are
good
you
shit.
when you're like running up to jump, have you already decided where you're going to put it, or are you like literally last second? Like
in the centre bounce, you've already decided.
Yep.
But in around the ground, you can see it a bit more.
What about when the balls bounce unevenly? Is it better if it comes towards you, or if it's or you get more of a run at it?
You're sitting under a ball and a 110 kilo bloke charging as hard as he can at you. It's not the funnest.
Well, yeah, if you get that's true. So you can like sort of do the opposite to them when it
Bounce
goes
or throw? Like
bounce.
you like the bounce?
Well, the throw just takes the unpredictability out of the game. Yeah. And like the most athletic player will win majority of the time, or it will create more injuries because I'll just go as hard as I can at you because I know the ball's not going to move. Yes. Whereas if the bounce, this side, like the last three have gone his side, this gun comes my side, you don't really have that opportunity.
Why do you think every ruckman I've ever met, every ruckman I've ever played with, why are you all the same? Why are you blokes all the same bloke? You love having a good beer, you're funny, you love a laugh. Like, some of you are smart. I don't know if you're smart or not, but like some of the chat you've just had, Channel 7, Channel 10, Channel 9, leaving luggage at the front door of the airport. I feel like you're a ruckman. Why are you all the same? You blokes are all the same. Do you have some sort of club that you all sign up to and say, we're going to be this sort of person? Because you are, aren't you? All of you.
Oh, yeah.
Lloyd Meek, he's a nice bloke, but they're all the same. Sandy, same. Coxie, same. Scott Lysaght, same. Nick Nandui, same. Nathan Vardy, same. Yeah. You're all just the same person. Why?
I don't know, mate.
What's the blokes doing?
Maybe the altitude up here or something.
Less oxygen.
Oh, that's very good.
What about when this is going to sound the dumbest question ever, but when the ball's thrown in, it's like you're basically always in the same spot. Is there like a measurement that you're aiming for to be in, like the position? Because the centre bounce, you're obviously right there, but when they're throwing it in, like if it's further or in front, does that make sense?
A little bit.
Explain it to Dan like he's Nuffy.
So you're talking about throw-ins?
Yeah, throw-ins. Because they obviously don't get it in the same spot every time, but the ruckmen always seem to be there for the tap. Like, on the weekend, someone got hit in the back of the head with the ball. Matt Rowell got hit in the head, back of the ball because it was such a bad throw.
Like to help Dan, like, is it to do with the front position? So, like, one of you always battles for the front position to hold the space, right?
So, depends on what kind of ruckman you are. I'm probably not the fastest ruckman, so I'm not going to start as far back as someone like Rowan Marshall. He starts really far back and tries to get a sprint in, whereas I want to take front position because if I'm front, I can reach the ball like before you.
He can plan himself a big cement block.
So we call it a 45 position, which is...
Don't give us too much details here, mate. Players.
Which is, you can just see the opponent and see the ball.
Yep.
So you know where the ball's going to go 16 metres. That's how they're meant to throw in. If it goes further, you readjust. If it goes further. So
there you go.
See the ball, see the man.
16 metres. Yep. Dan honestly would, if he got to play, he'd have a tape measure out and he'd be like, "This is where it's going to be, guys."
No, well, I mean, after a while, obviously you work it like it's in a similar spot. But I mean, it does happen when they're bad throws and you just need to.
And you talk to the mids about don't reference the ruck, reference the boundary umpire. So you've got to watch them,
right?
Because if it's quite funny in pre-season. It's like everyone's trying to impress and and you have the coaches throwing in who have no idea what they're doing. Like they can get one time they'll go really far and the other time they'll go really short. And like it happens about January, halfway through January. I have to remind the mids watch because you'll be on top of each other. You're like, this is not going to work. Like this doesn't work. And it's just every time about January 15th to January 20th, they're like,
I think this is a perfect time to just give everyone a bit of a look at this T-shirt, right? Because just listen to that midfield chat right there, Dan.
It was the midfield's fault.
It was the midfield's fault is on my back. We've released a special range here at BackChat, backchatpodcast.com.au/merch. It's the Backman merch. We don't have a Ruckman. We don't have a
Surely
Ruckman yet. What would you put on? What would you? I don't know. Leave your bags at the airport. Look,
I reckon it's not as hard as it looks. It's not as easy as it looks.
Ruck or back?
Ruck.
Yeah, well, I say that about the back line.
Yeah.
People just think, I get it, spoil it, see ball, punch ball.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
Well, I think backs, you can see the whole field in front of you, so you don't have to really.
What responsibility do Ruckman actually have? You just run around,
just hit the
have a bit of a
ball.
wrestle with a mate. Your mate's with Gorney. You just, yeah, mate, how are you? Just whack it down there, no worries. Jog off to the next contest, have a couple more hit outs. Maybe a little cup of tea, put a bit of fish sauce on top of it. There you go. So, all right. So, backchatpodcast.com.au/merch. We've got the Backman range. Who is number one Backman at your club? Like grumpy with the midfielders, doesn't really want to speak to anyone else other than the back line. Gives a little bit, but realizes that everyone else is just there to service the back line. Who is that number one?
Alex Pearce.
Really?
Yeah. I was going to throw Luke Ryan, but he loves everyone. So,
Yeah, okay. So
but Alex Pearce, yeah.
He's got a bit of grump about it.
Yeah, like back six gets chicks, things like that.
Yeah, so now we're talking. Thank you very much. Don't you don't have to pull that face, Sean. That's correct. Back six get chicks. Forwards sign memberships. Mids sell sell sponsorships. Forwards sell memberships. Mids sign sponsorships. Backs win
Premierships.
My man. Okay, there we go. So we got one of those. We got backs only. I'm going to give you some T-shirts to take to the boys.
All right.
I'll leave it in Alex Pearce's hands to delegate. I'll give you 4 because
All
I know there's a back 6, but I know there's a couple of boys in the back 6 that they're just there for the touches. Look, I don't know Hayden Young well, but he's getting a lot of the ball recently.
Exactly.
I don't know if he's a true backman at the moment. I think he's got his eyes on the midfield a little bit. We're talking the Luke Ryans, we're talking the Alex Pearces, we're talking the Brennan Coxes. I think like Griff Lowe.
But he's swinging.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Yeah,
you don't like him?
Look, if he's willing to admit that he's a backman and he will stay true as a backman, I will allow you to award it to him. But I'll leave it in Alex Pearce's hands.
So I'm not allowed to choose?
Well, you're a ruckman, mate. No, unless you want to play at full back. How would you go at full back? Like Josh Kennedy used to have this discussion with us a lot. It's a lot harder in the forward line. Yeah, it probably is. But how would Josh Kennedy go in the back line? Poorly. How would Sean Darcy go in the back line?
Not great.
Poorly. You would absolutely struggle.
It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
when you're running back, I was talking to Blake Acres about it. When you fall back and you should get a +1, you work hard. You're like, sometimes you don't want to because you have to play on a forward. You're like, I don't want to do this. I give a free kick away. It's going over my head.
Yes, we need some more quotes like that.
I did see I was looking at your highlights today on YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
You would have seen them too.
Wasn't many.
I think
Short Arvo.
there's
What, a few hit
There was
outs?
a
What else
It was a
do I
top
do?
5. It was a top 5, and two
top 5.
of them were
them
intercept
were
marks, like clutch intercept marks in the back line. So you can get around it.
Yeah, so he wasn't playing anyone though, was he? He was
Just
back there as a
floating.
loose man.
Loose
yeah.
man. Lock down, boys. Lock down.
Were you stiffed not to be All-Australian in 2021?
That's not my decision.
Okay, very good. You weren't though, were you?
Well,
Who was the All-Australian ruckman in 2021?
Nick Nutton gone.
Okay, very good. I won't question anymore. Did you go to Brownlow Medal that year?
I did.
Was that good? Good experience?
That was a lot of fun.
Who'd you take?
I took Darcy Tucker.
Did you? Geelong boy?
Yeah. Horsham boy.
Horsham, yes. Geelong
Hello.
Falcons. Sorry, yes.
No, Rebels.
Was he?
Yeah.
Why did I think he was a Geelong boy?
Just dropped.
about that,
Just
Geelong.
dropped in the
Yeah.
others.
How did that go? What was the Brownlow experience?
It was funny. It was hard to get a suit and bow tie, things like that. I don't really go well in. I reckon he
It's hard to get one.
Yeah. We went
it doesn't go well in. Doesn't go well in.
It's not me. I'm not a suit guy. I don't. If I'm going to races, I just wear a collared tee, some chino, something
and maybe some
yeah.
snakeskin white belt. You're a proper country.
So yeah, we rocked up, man, Tucker, and the best thing about it, they just kept bringing beers out, man. You just keep polishing them there. They just keep putting it on your table.
Did you get any votes?
I reckon, I got a couple. I
Very
got
good.
1 3, which I took. No, 2 3s, I reckon.
Very good. Were you playing drinking
You
game?
got 7. You got 7 votes.
Yeah, I reckon round 2, I got the first votes, and then 2 3s, and I was stoked.
Couple more. Who's the fines master at Fremantle?
Blake Acres.
So you've got fines happening.
Yeah,
The last time I spoke to you about fines,
they weren't. We
you
changed
told me
this
there
year.
was no fines.
Yeah.
This was in the preseason this
Yeah.
year.
So-
I asked you who's running the fines down there. You shook your head, not happening. And
No.
I said, you boys, to have any success, need a fines master.
Yep. So you created
There you
the
go.
idea.
Do you-
So it started with Andy and Caleb, who pretty straight shooters, leadership group, things
Brayshaw,
like that.
Sarong.
You know, like they're just there. All right, if you're late, you get the fines. If you're like just standards, whereas Shakes is. We call him the sheriff because he always finds a way to control things. So, like, whether it's in a night out, he'll be like, we're playing a drinking game. Like, no one wants to play a drinking game on a night out, things like that. Like, he'll always weasel his way into controlling things.
Right.
And, like, and he was like, just kept giving ideas to, like, Andy. And it started with a dice. So, yeah, we have a dice and you roll a number. There's 6 things that you got to do that comes up. And it just come if you were late to a massage because there was a big thing about respecting others' time and like whether it's physios, masseuses, strength and conditioning, we want to be on time, we want to be punctual, we want to things like that. So at the start it was just if you're late to things you get a dice roll, and then Sheriff got his way in. Now it's gone from a dice roll to a fines master. And
what sort of things are on the dice?
So. One is wear your suit to the club for the week.
Right.
2
Give me a
is
Brownlow.
2 is dishes. So we like twice a week we get food at the club, like, and you got to do the dishes.
Right.
3 is dartboard. So you throw a dart and then whatever number it lands on times by 10, and you got to pay it into the kitty.
Oh, and if
you miss twice.
Great.
So there's the funny story about it. We had our bye, we had 2 teams in the Saturday training, and it was like loser has a dartboard throw.
Yes.
And Caleb Sarong comes up, and it's longer than a regulation dart throw, and he was shaking like like it looks like he's never thrown a dart in his life. Like misses the dartboard for the first time, like didn't even get on the dartboard, like on the floor, and we're just like, give it again, misses it again.
Oh no.
And like we're like,
this can ruin careers, this sort of stuff. Seriously,
and
it's funny to start with, and then you're like, "Oh, this bloke can't throw."
Because there's 44 blokes around watching you, giving you everything. So Blake's just like, he's missed it. He's like, you can either have 3 darts, or we'll just give you the max of 400. And he took the max of 400. So what's 4? 4 is table tennis. You pick a bloke out, and you play 3 points, and the loser of the 3 points pays 50, so
great.
150. 5, what's 5? There's another cash, and then 6 is pick a mate, so you roll, and you've got to pick one of the boys.
They should bring in. You have to call the coach a nickname. They called Adam Simpson Adsy one day. It did not go down very well at all. That's great. I'm glad to hear there's a fines master. I actually thought I was tying you into a reveal that there was no fines master.
No, we're calling it what.
And you're winning games of football,
exactly.
Sean.
Plant the seed.
Yes, correct. I want to finish on David Mundy. Kind of a bit of a timeless podcast here. So he finishes up at the end of this season. Talk to us about David Mundy. What sort of impact does he have around the football club as a player?
He's unbelievable. He's like, he seems to never be sore. Like, he's sore, but he's always out there. Like, today we had a little 2K session, and you'd be like, most senior blokes sort of be like, oh yeah, a bit sore, like a bit banged up. He's out there running around, like around the boys. Everyone loves him. He's one of the best. He shares his knowledge. He's so just cares about everyone. And on the field, you see what he is. Had 35 on Friday night.
Yeah. So, he looks like he'll be going out before he's sort of pushed out the door, which I'm a fan of, by the way.
That's what he said in his presser. He was like, I'd rather have a little bit left than get pushed out.
What was his retirement speech like?
Yeah, so in front of the boys, he's...
So this is behind closed doors?
Yeah, it was honestly, I don't reckon longer than 40 seconds. And like some boys, like I've sat through a couple, they go 10, 15 minutes, tears, the works, like he was in and out. He's like, we got bigger fish to fry. And then sat down. I was just like, come on, mate, you've played 19 years. You're the leading games record at Freo.
Played 370 games.
Yeah,
give us some memories, Dave.
Just thanks for the physios and every support staff. You mean so much to me. To the boys, this is my last season, a bit more. And then he's like, I don't want to make it about me. We got bigger fish to fry. Off we went and sat down.
Is that just like peak David Mundy, that sort of thing?
He hates talking about himself. Like, I was in the showers after his presser, and he's just like, a lot of the reporters were asking him, so what's your favourite memory? What's your most like favorite teammate, da da da. Like, what do you want to be remembered as? And he's like, an honest battler. And I was like, mate, you're the last person from an honest battler. Like, what are you talking about? Like, be honest. Like,
I did read that. He wanted to remember as a battler.
Yeah. And I was like, come on, mate. Like, and like, he's like, I hated every minute of just talking about myself. Like, I'd rather like talk about the boys or talk about the upcoming week. He's just.
Does there, because he's so old, right? He's old, right? Does that get spoken about?
He's
or
so old.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does the boys take the piss out of him?
Yeah.
Like, you're a grandpa,
Yeah.
mate. But he still has 35 on the weekend.
It's crazy. He's like, he's 36, 37. Like,
I don't know.
like he's genuinely old. Like, like we're talking about it, like, because his kid's 9, and like some of the boys will play. Like, if his kid goes all right, like Finn, they'll be playing with him. Like, that's how long he's been playing for.
Have you got any favourite David Mundy memories, stories? Any, I don't know. It doesn't have to be funny necessarily.
Like,
but
genuinely, like, you know, the cheapskates in the footy club. He
tight ass.
You'll never get a coffee or a beer off him.
Is that right?
Like, I don't think. Like, the COVID killed him because we weren't allowed to go into the Virgin Lounge, and that's when he'd get people's coffee. Like, if we had a goal kicking comp, like he'd go to the
Grab
Virgin
the free
Lounge,
coffee.
get the free
it's
coffee,
free, mate.
yeah, and give it to you. Like, and like usually, like the boys get a bit of stiff. So like initially, it was in my like last 3-4 years, it's been Lloyd Meek. Like, he's a tight ass, and now I think it's gravitated to Neil Erasmus. But like everyone knows that Dave.
So these are young players
Yeah.
that are probably, I don't know, 60, 70, whatever they're on. Dave Mundy's 19 years in the system.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of money. Like,
Got
I'm
enough.
not going to call him rich, whatever he is. He's been playing for a long
Yeah.
time. He's got
Yeah.
some money. So he won't buy your coffee.
No.
If you're asked, hey, Dave, no.
He doesn't buy coffee. He gets the pods at the thing. He won't.
facility.
Yeah, he won't go. And I was just
my.
like, come on.
Is he bringing his lunch to training? He's not bringing a packed lunch to training, is he?
I don't think he's brought a packed lunch, but
I just see him coming to training with like the triangles cut, like in a say, like nice dad wrap.
Foil.
Like, don't have to pay for lunch. I was got the bread from home. Why would I buy paper bread from home? I can
He'd
buy
be
lunch.
taking. I assume there's like you said, you got lunches twice a week at the club. He'd be taking leftovers.
somehow.
Is he the best ever docker?
Yeah, you have to be up there.
Yep.
He's sustainability over. Like, he had his best year in Brownlow that he was telling us today in the showers last year. Like, he polled 20 or something, whatever he polled. That was his best year. Like, you can't. That's just unheard of. Absurd. And yeah, like, even just like things like you just. When you get to that age, surely you pull the 300, 350 card. He was doing the time trial with us in pre-season and things like that. Like, unbelievable.
Is he the sort of player? So see a few around. So Sean Burgoyne always used to be at Hawthorn. It seems like Scott Pendlebury, he's been playing the back line a little bit. When Dangerfield did it in Joel Selwood's 350th. When the chips were down and someone needed to go into the midfield and get things done, is he the sort of guy? Is he the guy that goes in? Like, is he the guy that you go, okay, we need Dave in here?
Yeah, he'll be like, yep, go at it.
Yep.
I remember playing a few games. I think it was Adelaide last year where he just put it on the shoulders and he's like 35 at the time. You're just like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you got kids. Like, and then you go home and just chill with the kids. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, he's just unbelievable. Like, you can't speak highly enough of
You'll
him.
have to. I know you can't say and talk about it. We have to make this year a flag mantle year, please, Sean. Just otherwise, he's not going to win one in his career.
Exactly.
So that's on you,
That's what he
boys.
said,
So no pressure, but please get it done so we can sell some merch. Backchatpodcast.com.au/merch. Now we are at the stage of the podcast, getting towards the end. This is social media, not social. Social.
Yep.
See what we've done there?
Yeah, I've seen
Do you
him.
need to give it to him again? I don't know if he.
Social
One more time.
I mean, I don't need to repeat it because, of course, he's heard of it. It's one of the great podcasting segments of all time. One of the greats worldwide. Everyone knows about it. Where the people get to ask you the questions. You've heard Dan and I's questions. This is from the people. Lucas .Ali.
How did you get the name Swaggy Onions?
Is that your nickname? Swaggy
Yeah.
Onions.
Yeah.
Swaggy Onions.
Yeah.
Swaggy Onions.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
So
quite
like, people like yelling
long
out
story.
Swaggy Onions.
Yeah. Swaggy O.
Swaggy O. Okay.
Like, Swaggy Onions is a bit of
That's
long-
Mr. Onions to
Yeah.
you. Like,
Swaggy O gets it. So it started. Where did it start? It started with Wayne, Matt Tabner. He's a unique individual, Matt. We love him.
bunch
We
of
love
unique
him, but
individuals.
he's very unique. And out of the blue, he just started calling me onions. I don't know why.
Lots of layers.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then apparently at a festival, Alex Pearce and Andy Brayshaw said I had a little bit of a swagger when I was walking around. Like
Big dog.
The big dog
like,
swag.
That's how I walk. Like I didn't think two things of it. Like
That's how I walk.
like a bit of a strut.
swagger.
So yeah, Swaggy O, and then like Swaggy P from the basketball. So I've put 2 and 2 together. So yeah,
Yep.
I like Swaggy Onions. It's like the extended version. Yeah, Swaggy O. Swaggy O sounds cool. Swaggy Onions. It's like
no
bag of onions.
Did you say saggy onions?
Let's go. Yeah, Kernsies 494.
How in the world did you acquire number 4? Not many ruckmen are rocking low numbers.
Yeah, so it was
Because you were 4 from the beginning.
yeah. So we come in and it came from Brennan Cox, he's not the brightest bloke he's a great person,
Yeah.
just not the brightest. And we come in.
So you get along well with him, do you?
Yeah, we come in our first, like me, Coxie, Luke, and Griff drafted together. He comes in, they're talking about the numbers, and like Pav had just retired at this time, so he's like, "Yeah, 29's sick. That's a sick number." Like data, like had no idea that Pav, and we were just like, "Nah, we'll probably leave that one alone." Like, so this was a time where they're like, "You get to choose your numbers."
Right.
So there's 2, 4, 29, 36. 38 or whatever.
Yes.
And I was like, I'll take 36, 38. I'll take the big, like, Ruckman, get the big numbers, da-da-da. And he's gone, who'd he gone? He gone to, like, Bondi or someone, our GM at the time. Yeah, I'll take 29. And so Bondi's just like, no, they're not choosing. We'll go draft order. Like, 2, 4. And they left 29. Like, no one had 29. Like,
So Coxie wanted 20. He's 36, right?
oh, and he was 36 and Luke was 38. And me, Luke, and Griff are just looking like, who's this bloke? Like, honestly, like, just didn't even think. Like,
Right. Is someone 29 now?
Luke Valenti was, but he retired at the start of the year.
So no one's 29.
No one's played 29 since Pav.
They should just retire it.
Kill it, you reckon?
Yeah, retire the number.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Let's go with Joseph Patch.
Have you been invited as Blake Acres' date to the Brownlow?
No, I haven't.
Well,
Why is
down to
that?
the-
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just what
are
this
we
person.
close?
This is by
We're
the
close
people,
enough.
for the people.
We
There's
do
a couple
bit
coming up that I
together.
really want to know the answer to. Molub.
Okay.
No, I'm going to ask that last. That's going to be our last one. Shane Haddo.
What's the funniest piece of advice you've gotten on the football field?
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
There's a lot.
Who talks to you? What? Do the Ruckman talk a lot?
There's a bit of talk. It's just like, because you're always wrestling each other, things like that. So, like, Gorn was saying a bit on the weekend. The funniest, probably Mumford, the first time I played him, like, he's got this weird, like, apparently he does it to get in people's head, but he, like, just, like, is really nice to you. Like, so he'll, like, throw you on the ground, and then he'll pick you, oh, you're a star, like, you're going to be a great player, like, and then he'll, like, jumper punch you, and then, like, talk, like, it was the strangest game I've ever played in my life. Like, yeah.
So, okay. So, Mummy says you're going to be a good player.
Messing with your head.
Live_Floro.
Who's the bloke that always gets picked on, and what's the worst prank you've seen done at the footy club?
Oh. The worst that I'll repeat, there's been worse, but
Yes.
I'm not going to repeat those
Family
ones.
show,
Yeah.
yeah. Sort of. It's not really a family show.
Who gets picked on the most? Oh. There's range, like, Coxie gets picked on a bit in my draft year at the start.
Sounds like you're driving that by the sound of things.
But now he's a bit more grown up, so he doesn't.
Yes.
Who else? Blake was the sheriff. He's good at pranks, and I sort of jump in with him every now and then.
Yes.
I think my car got filled up in my first year with that beanbags.
Beanbags.
What are they called?
Like the little white
Little
beanbags.
beans. That's
that
awful.
was a
That
that was
goes
a good
everywhere.
prank.
The whole car.
The whole car. I left the window open, and Luke, Coxie, and Griff went. Yeah, it was a pre-season day, and you've come out. You've done 12 Ks, done a full weight session, had meetings. I've come out. I was flat as, and I've opened the door, and it's just spilt everywhere in the car park, and I've just like. And Griff could see how flat I was. Them Luke and Coxie just legged it, like they've gone.
Who did it? They did.
That and Griff, and then so I think I copied one of their keys because they were living together. So I went one training copied one of their keys at the locksmith and come back, and they were
It's illegal.
they were traveling. They were traveling. So me and Griff like changed one of their rooms around. It was like honestly 4 hours. Worst pray. Like, it wasn't that funny for 4 hours work. But, yeah.
That's good. I like
That's
that.
very good. In my, it's pretty early on in my career because it was sort of iPhones sort of just out. That's how old I am, right?
Well.
And there started being circular. There was no WhatsApp groups or group messages. It was like printouts of these photos, and these ghosts were like being printed out and put up on people's lockers. So there was like two blokes in bed sheets, and they would be like in your house, or they'd have some of your belongings and in a weird spot at night time. So I don't know, they'd like steal something from your locker, or that's how it started. Right. And they'd steal Nick Nat's boots, and they'd be standing at a petrol station in sheets holding the boots. Right.
That's great.
And then it'd be like they'd put a message on there. If you want your boots back, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it turned into them breaking into people's houses, like players' houses at night time while they were in it, and taking photos like in their kitchen, like doing these ones, like in their house.
While they're like in the living room.
No, while they're sleeping, mate. Like, it's like 3 a.m. sort of areas. Yeah, right. So it's like no one has the gun ownership here. And it then turned into, and the reason they got done, actually they didn't get done, but the last one that they did, they went to Matt Rose's house, who's now at Peel Thunder, general manager, and they stole his dog, right? And they took the dog around all these different places,
And took pictures
everywhere, like took it all around. Like they were treating it for that. It's okay, Dan.
They didn't.
They wanted Rose to stress. Anyway, they did all these photos. They put all the photos out, and then Rose sort of found out somehow. And he concocted this story that the dog had gone missing, actually. Like, he'd come home and he was like, I want to know who the ghosts are. I want these. Wow. So the ghosts had then, like, gone back to the house. They were running around. They found that dog, knew that Rose was lying. Anyway, there's a full blow up about it. It lasted all year. No one knew who the ghosts were. And at footy trip, no one knew. Not because the two who did it never spoke a word to anyone about it.
Wow, that is impressive.
Scott Selwood, Josh Kennedy stand up at footy trip, and they've got the sheets in their back. It's like, fucking did it, boys. It's like all year. Yeah. Very good. So if you got any Freo boys that want to do the ghost, it was very good. Last question. Last done and dusted here. I can't remember who it was. Mollab.
This is how it says. Sean, are you ever going to return the Shrek costume you rented out from our costume shop 5 years ago?
Is that true? I thought for sure someone had made that up.
You've stolen a costume.
Yeah, Mad Monday. Mad Monday.
And you've still got it?
Oh.
All right, Mollab, just get in contact with the show. Sean wears it around at night time sometimes.
You lost your deposit?
Forgot about it. I definitely lost the deposit.
That's very good.
We had, it was played on the Saturday, and we got told on the Sunday to rock up to Aaron Sanderland's house at 10 o'clock in a costume. And there was the place that person's talking about is legitimately 500 metres from Aaron's house. So we've all gone into that shop, grabbed it, and then,
the Shrek costume, rest in peace. Yeah. It is at Clubber.
Yeah.
Mate, done and dusted. Have you had fun?
I had a lot of fun.
So you have a mission. You're going to go back to the football club. You're going to take your BackChat merch. You're going to take the Backman merch. You're going to give it to Alex Pearce. You're going to get the boys all up and about. And then you're going to go and win a premiership for us. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Very good. Cool. Sean Darcy there. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks to our sponsors, Whippersnapper, Shelter, Blue Bet, Murray River Roasting, and of course, Leadville Cameras. We love your support. If you want to get in touch with us, you want to find us on socials, it's BackChat _. You find us on the website, backchatpodcast.com.au. Send us an email, hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. I think that's about done, Dan.